Right, you're watching Investor's Guide on ET Now. Thanks for staying with us. Now we have a special segment on insurance. We have an expert joining us in our studio. Anil Segal is someone who's tracked insurance very closely. He's going to answer your questions on insurance. Anil, thanks so much for joining us on the show. Our first question comes in from Anurag Nigam, who writes in. He's 25 years old. He's a mechanical engineer and he tells us he recently got married. Well, Anurag, congratulations first of all on the wedding. He tells us he wants to buy a health insurance policy for himself and his wife that will take care of all hospitalization expenses, especially due to a pregnancy he knows that will be around the corner. Well, Anurag, that's an excellent question. He wants you, Anil, to suggest a suitable health insurance plan with the best cashless hospitalization network in Gujarat. Anil.
Sure. Anurag, you mentioned that you require a medical policy which covers especially maternity benefits. Now, you could have looked at both individual policies as well as family floater policies for yourself and for your wife. But typically, family floater policies are the ones that cover maternity benefits. Although there are some policies that also give maternity benefits for individuals. Now, what you could do is you could consider Oriental's family floater policy, or else Max Bupa's Heartbeat Silver, or Apollo's Easy Health. Now, Easy Health from Apollo also offers you maternity benefits in an individual policy. The key thing to consider are twofold. One, what is the waiting period? And now the waiting period is especially, in maternity benefits, the time that the policy has to be in force before you can claim maternity benefit. Now, in Oriental's case, this would be about 1 year. In the Max Bupa plan, you can avail of maternity benefits after the second policy year. And in Apollo Munich's family plan, you can avail maternity benefits after 4 years. But if you take the individual plan, the waiting period goes up to 6 years. All of these plans offer you cashless hospitalization benefits, and these are available in Gujarat as well. So these are 3 plans that you could consider.
All right, our next question comes in from Mithun, who writes in with reference to our last episode where we talked about the importance of insuring your home against natural calamities. Now, Mithun writes in saying he owns a home worth 50 lakh rupees in Ahmedabad and he wants to know what would be the best insurance policy for him to cover that home. Well, Anil, what policy should he be considering?
Mithun, for a home insurance of 50 lakhs, the key thing to remember is that for a structure to be insured, the insurance company is going to be looking at the replacement cost or reconstruction value. Now, different insurance companies use different benchmarks for what this assessed value should be. And this can range from 500 rupees per square foot to 1800 rupees per square foot. So, the first thing that you have to consider is which insurance company is going to be able to give you the right amount of sum assured, which will meet your cost of reconstruction based on the quality of construction and other parameters. Typically, insurance companies will not insure the market value, as you all already know. So that is a key thing to consider. Typically, again, the structural cost of insurance will be around about 50 paisa per mil to 65 paisa per mil. So for insuring a structure of 50 lakhs, the cost will be ranging from between 2,500 rupees to 3,300 rupees. For these, you could be looking at the National Insurance's home insurance plan. You could be looking at ICICI Lombard's home insurance or Bajaj Allianz's home insurance plan.
We have time for one more question. Madhukar has written in. He tells us he has a home loan and he would like to buy an insurance policy to cover that loan. So basically he tells us it's a loan for 10 years. He's finished paying his EMIs for 3 years. He wants a loan that will pay off the EMIs in case something happens to him because he's the only earning member of his family. But that's a very, very good idea to buy that insurance and it's not very expensive at all. Well, Anil, what would be the best home loan insurance right now for him to take?
Madhukar, for your home loan insurance, you should be looking at a plan where you can take a mortgage term insurance plan. These plans typically will cover the outstanding loan amount and that loan amount reduces over time. You have multiple options in this. You could be taking a regular premium plan that you continue to pay for whatever the period is for which the loan is outstanding, less than a few years. So typically, for example, a 20-year plan, you would be paying premiums for 15 odd years. Or you could take a single premium option. Now, there are multiple options that you could consider here. You could consider MetLife's Mortgage Protector, Aviva's Life Shield Platinum, or you could look at ICICI Home Assure. Alternatively, you can also consider pure term insurance plans. Now, here the sum assured would not reduce over a period of time, but especially the online term insurance plans today are very competitive, and you might find that these are cheaper. So you should consider when you are evaluating options a pure term insurance plan, especially the online versions as well. And for this, again, you could consider, for example, I Protect from ICICI Prudential, or Aegon Religare iTerm, or Met Protect from MetLife. So again, consider your options, and you can take the benefits from either one of these two types of plans.
All right, Anil, thanks so much for answering all of our questions. We're going to come back to you next week with more questions on insurance. Remember, if you have questions for Anil, you can write into us. There's an email ID at the bottom of your screen. Before we wrap up this show, here's a quick look in our Power of Compounding segment on how much money you can save by recycling your old newspapers.
It's simply routine. The crisp newspaper, the hot cup of tea, and the beginning to a new day. Your time with your newspaper might be personal, and you might have had to fight a family member or two to get the first dibs. We hardly think about what happens to that paper when we're done with it. Now, recycling means doing your bit to save the world, but selling old newspapers also means making a quick buck. Let's assume you have about 6 kilos of newspapers stacked up every month. The scrap dealer would pay you about 12 rupees a kilo, so you make 864 rupees a year. Invest that in an equity mutual fund that gives you about 15% return. You would have 4,31,962 rupees at the end of 30 years. Even if the fund only gave you 12% annualized return, you would still have 2,33,532 rupees at the end of 30 years.
Alright, so that's a wrap on Investor's Guide. Remember, you can find any of the information you heard on the show today on our Facebook page. Go to Facebook, look for Investor's Guide on ET Now. Alternatively, you can write to us at the email ID that's at the bottom of your screen. Send in as much information as you can. Makes it easier for us to answer your questions. Tune in next week and catch Investor's Guide. Thanks for watching.